Alright, here we go. Now we're getting to the complicated stuff. I actually did some research last night and found that, so if you go back to my video where I take the band out for the second gear here, I noticed that this band not only looks like it's new, but it's not worn out at all. When these get worn out, the clutch material, this red stuff, is completely gone off of it, and the band material itself, this one's steel, will be wearing down and disintegrating onto that drum, but this one's not like that. Also, this is a steel, and these are from the factory. These are copper, which makes them especially prone to the band slippage that I talked about earlier. Turns out that when they replace it with a steel band like this, that problem gets eliminated, but the same catastrophic failure takes place if your transmission cable is not properly adjusted. The fluid pressure will be low, and when you shift, you won't have any pressure to the shifts, and it stars all the clutch packs of the fluid, and it'll burn the transmission up just the same. It just won't burn out the clutch, or it just won't burn out the second gear band because of the fact that it's steel and it's refined and it's not as soft as copper. But anyway, moving back into the transmission, now I'm going to be putting it back together, and I've got my rebuild kit over there. This is where it gets into the real complicated stuff, and once again, I'm going to try to record as much as I can, but it's going to be difficult because this is a kind of a two-handed job, if you know what I'm saying. So the first thing you're going to want to do here is, if you got your book, you're going to want to take the output shaft and the rear internal gear, which I'll show you in a minute, and stick it onto the end of it there, and then you want to put your thrust-bearing washer on to the top of that, and go through this inspection process. I'm going to show you that here. Going over here, and the rebuild kit doesn't come with new sprags or anything like that. That's all going to be. You got to reuse all that stuff. So this is that rear forward gear that it talks about. This guy right here is that whatever that thing says on the book. So we're going to take that over here with us. Put that right there, and then get the output shaft. Alright, see right here, this is your output shaft. This is the end that sticks out of a transmission. This is going to be sitting like this. Got your lube holes in there. So this guy right here is going to go on to this shaft like it shows in the picture. So see that? The flat end right there is going to be facing out towards the sort of beveled end here, and then the output shaft is going to go that way, so I'm going to put that on here, and I'm going to find that bearing. I'm going to have to figure out which bag it was that I had that I put that into. Alright, see here, this is why labeling your bag is important. This bag here is for the output shaft and reverse gear, and this washer thrust bearing was in there with that. And like it says in the book, you want to put the shiny side down facing onto this guy right here, just like that. And that's going to sit in there just like that. Over the book. Follow the instructions. So this here is your roller clutch and rear carrier. And it's got this thrust washer, this guy right here. And then it's got the whole thing's assembled, and I've got it over there, so I'm going to grab that for you. Alright, see, I have it here. This is it. See, if I take this out, it can come out. I'm not going to, but this ring here comes out, and then the roller clutch itself will come out, and you can take this thrust washer right there. This copper washer comes out as well after that. I ain't going to do that. If you look on the book, it'll tell you here to use a flat feeler gauge to check for the clearance between the carrier and the planet, but you don't actually have to do that. You can just look at it, eyeball it, and if you can see, like, sometimes you got to put a flashlight up to it, but if you can take this and move it up and down like that, and you can see daylight through it, so I put the top, kind of see through it there, that means that it's worn. But like the book says, there's a spec for it, and it should be right there, that 24 to 60 millimeter range there, which this one has been rebuilt, and you can see when you look at it that it's not worn out and they're new bearings on there. And I don't have the parts for this, so I'm not going to replace it, especially since this wasn't the problem cause of my my transmission. So take that thing, and after you reassemble it all, put it all back together, as that thrust washer we talk about, roller, cage and roller, sun gear or race, and you put your thrust washer on top of it here. So take this guy, see it's got the tabs. It's gonna go in there like that. Oops, sorry, that's wrong. Upside down. It's gonna go in there like that. See the grooves that it's got? It's gonna match up with it. Push on there just like that. And then right there, gonna slide it into that rear internal gear that I already showed you. Alright, that actually proved to be quite difficult to do. I actually take the whole assembly off and put it together separately and stick it back on the shaft, but it's on there now. And as it says here, you just, once it's on, you just slip it into the back of the transmission. The long, you know, wavy whatever side here faces out. This thing's gonna hook up to your speedometer cable, and it'll stick out the ass end of the transmission here. So just like that. And this is basically the gist of what I did. That's got a different video there. This is the gist of what I did in the video that you guys couldn't see because I couldn't record it for multiple reasons. But the number one reason being that I couldn't record it at all with one hand. I had to use both hands to remove it. But basically it was just the opposite of what I'm doing now. All I'm going to do is see a hole there at the bottom. This thing right here is just going to slide right into the back. This gear here is going to slide up right up against the back end of it, and yeah, that's what's going to happen. So once this is in and I get the other stuff ready, I will do a video on that. So this has been your reinstallation of the output shaft.